One of the best things about doing a project car is when you reach the milestones. You know, when you get to the point that the car starts to take shape. It's not done yet, right? But it's starting to take on the look. It's starting to take on the feel that you're looking for. And all of that hard work is actually, like, you can see it now. The vision is getting clear. And we're at that point now with Slag Hammer. And before I show you this thing, I want to tell the story of Slag Hammer, because this actually goes back to before the channel even got started. So let's go back 4 years ago. It was actually 4 years ago this month. I had a shop called Mid-South Mopars. It was here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we were doing great. We were turning cars out. And I also had a parts business going. I had a lot full of parts cars. And bits and pieces and engines and transmissions and you name it, I had it. But the shop was on a month-to-month lease, month-to-month rent. And unbeknownst to me, the owner of the property had it for sale. So one morning, having my coffee, getting ready to dig in, the owner of the place walks up and he says, "You got 30 days. I sold the property. They're moving in the end of the month." What? Yeah, got 30 days. This was tough, okay? I totally was not expecting this, right out of the blue. So I had to think quick, right? I got 30 days. So of course I tried all of the potential legal recourses, but it was to no avail. Done, it was a done deal. I had 30 days. So right away I says, okay, I need to find a place to move the business to and parts. So for the next 3 weeks, I scoured the area. I went every place within a 20 or 30 mile radius of home, looking for anything that resembled a shop or a place to put it. And at the time, there was zero, nothing. Now I had a week to go, and this stuff had to be out. So with a week to go, I started giving things away, right? I called everybody I knew in the area, and I says, "You want engines, you want transmissions, you want whatever you want, just come and get it. I got to get rid of this stuff." Couldn't get rid of it fast enough. On the 30th day, I started scrapping. 60,000 pounds of metal, 60,000 pounds of Mopar, gone. And there was nothing I could do about it. No place to put it. So it was rough, you know, and like I said, I just could not give it away. Couldn't give it away fast enough. But some things got left behind. And at the back corner of my parts lot, I had what was left of a 4-door Valiant, a 68 Valiant. So I had already sold the drivetrain out of it. It was a 273 automatic. I had already sold the nose off of it. I had already sold the front frame rails. All of the usable parts, anything that was usable on this car was sold. And here's a clip of that. And that brings us to this thing, our 1968 Valiant parts car. Get a look at the side of this thing so they have an idea of the scope of what they're talking about. Yeah, we're going to turn this into a car. We're going to build this. But I said, I'm going to do something with this car as a tribute to my past business and all of the stuff that got thrown away, right? I'm going to do something with this car. I'm going to make something out of this car. But I didn't know what to make out of it. So in the meantime, we got this channel started. And we started making videos, and we started making some headway with it. It was doing good. So I says, you know, this has got a lot of potential. We need project cars. And that's when I picked up Bottle Rocket. We picked up a few things, and we started working on them. But I still had this Valiant sitting in the back of the lot. And I was like, I got to do something with this car. So the first thing was going to be a circle track car. I said, you know what? I've never done anything circle track before. So let's take this thing and let's build it out as a you know, an enduro car, just a dirt car we go out and have some fun with. And I had people who were going to do this, but it didn't work out. They weren't the right people to work with. So the project went back to zero. So everything sat for about a year and it was dormant. And then I hear about this race called the Gambler 500. And they're doing it in Tennessee, in eastern Tennessee. And I says, wait, that's the perfect thing to do for this Valiant. So a friend of mine had a 71 Dodge truck chassis And I had this body, and I says, you know what? I'm going to put this body on this chassis, and we're going to go run the Gambler 500 with it. And so that's what I did. I took the body, actually me and another guy at the old lot, we grabbed the body, we rolled it up onto the back of the frame, saw how everything would work, right? And that was it, right? This is going to be it. We're going to do an off-road Plymouth Valiant. So I started working on that, and I started building it tough, because I figured, well, this is going to be an off-roader, and I don't want to just throw it away when we're done. I want to be able to do other stuff with this car. So I bought a couple of sheets of 16 gauge steel. I shortened the truck chassis 20 inches. And then I tied the truck chassis in with the original unibody of the car, the outer parts of it. The center part of it was already gone. So I created this like unibody, and this thing was like tough car. And as I'm making progress, and we actually did a few videos on this, as I'm making progress, the whole Gambler 500 thing starts to get really sketchy. The race is on, it's off, it's on, it's off. They can't use the property, they got to do this, they got to do that. And I'm like, look, I got way too many things going on in my life and on this channel to gamble on a gambler race that may or may not happen. So the project sat dormant. And then one day I'm looking at it and I'm saying, it's got this drop front axle, which was the thing that attracted me to the chassis that was in there to begin with. I said, this is just the most beautiful axle and leaf springs. And I said, man, I'm going to do a street freak / gasser out of this thing. So that's when we switched gears. We moved into this shop, and I says, all right, we're going to make a 2-door conversion out of it. And I started working on all of that. And I had the vision. I knew exactly what I wanted this car to look like. I knew exactly what the stance was going to be. I knew exactly what the attitude of this thing was going to be, right? But I'm one man. Now here's an important thing. When I moved into the shop, it was much more space than I needed. But I said to myself, right, build it and they will come, right? Build it and they'll come. What do I mean by that, right? Because I'm one guy working by myself. Well, I said, if I have the facilities and I have the raw material, the cars, engines, parts, whatever, the place to work, if I just start doing my thing, people will come and fill in the blanks. And sure enough, it happened. The Junkyard Jet guys, right? And they started their project. And in the meantime, I'm working on the Valiant Slag Hammer. Actually, one of our viewers, Zero, named this car Slag Hammer, and the name stuck. So we call it Slag Hammer because at last count, there's 24 pounds of welding wire in this car. 24 pounds of it. Can you imagine that, right? There's a lot of metal there. So now the shop is starting to, I'm getting the hands, I'm getting the help and the boost that we need to go to the next step. But I'm still overwhelmed with my own projects. And then that's where Al pops in. So I've known Al for a couple of years now. And he comes by and I says, Al, you want to get involved in a project? He says, sure. I says, I'm building this car. It's going to be a street freak type of gasser type of thing. I'm overwhelmed. I got way too many things going on. I got to focus on making content. I got these other project cars I got going on. You want to get involved in it? You do the body and the rest of that stuff. I'll do the drivetrain for it, and we'll get it ready to go for next year.
It's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah. So beginning in November, Al jumps in, and this guy has worked his tail off on this car. So now I'm going to show you. So we started this talking about when a project car reaches that like a plateau. Well, when a project car becomes a roller, you can actually get a look at it out in the world and see what you got. And this is what we got. This is Slag Hammer. I could not picture a more perfect. This is exactly what I had in mind. When I gasser street freak, okay? This was it, exactly. The 2-door conversion was done. It's all good. It sits on the frame exactly. The suspension sits exactly. It's got the right stance. It's got the right attitude. Let's pop this open. It's got the tilt nose. It's beautiful.
I mean, it's the day I put the back wheels on it to roll it for the first time.
Yep.
I had chills go up my back.
Yeah, he sent me pictures. I was at the house. He sent me a couple of pictures of the car sitting on the ground. I was like, oh my God. I jumped in the truck and I came right out here. So that's it. Slag Hammer is now a roller. Slag Hammer is a long way from done.
Yep.
There's still plumbing that needs to be done. The brakes got to get run. The fuel line's got to get run. There's a lot of finish welding and whatnot that has to be done on the inside. There's still a solid couple of months of work left on this car, but we're on target for the
second week of June.
Second week of June. He's going to take this thing on power tour. He's going to start in Memphis and end up where did he end up?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. He's going to make all of the stops in between. So you guys want to see him in this car and all of that? Power tour. And but there you go. Slag Hammer. Division is coming. It's perfect. Division is perfect.
It's finally a car, man. I can't wait. I mean, it gives a person the boost to keep on going, because you know as well as I do, when you do projects, it gets to a stale moment and you're trying to force yourself into it,
yep.
Keep going. But when I put these on, dude, it just lit me up.
Yep. So we're going to start covering the motor. We're doing 2 motors, but let's not talk about the second one right now. It's going to work. We're going to focus on the Tunnel Ram 3D3 that's going to go in this car for a power tour. And what's next, Al?
Well, I got to finish that body work. We got to address the frame underneath, get it all cleaned up.
Yeah.
Put the famous holes through it.
Yeah, we got to Swiss cheese the frame down here.
We got the springs sitting where we want it at.
Perfect.
So I can start putting the rear end together.
Yeah, I'll build the cross member support for the pinion snubber.
But I'm getting antsy, man.
It's classic. It's epic. I have never seen another Mopar done this way. I've seen Mopars mounted on truck frames. I've seen them do all kinds of things. But this car is actually cohesive.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks right. It actually it looks like a Nova. It looks like an early Nova gas engine.
Oh yeah, and with the truck frame underneath there, after it got shortened, even the frame lines look good underneath.
Every angle. Look, come here. You got to walk around. So you got to see this car from every angle. Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
Yes, sir, I do. And I mean, it's coming along, man. It's coming along.
So guys, that's the halftime report. And if you are working on a project and you're at that stage where you're just like, I can't go any further, it's killing me, I can't even look at this car, keep going. Just keep pushing that little bit extra. You get it to this point and you get a whole different renewed, I'm just looking at, we're standing across over there looking at the car, and I said to him, now I want to build a bunch of these things. we can't just stop at one. We have to have a bunch of these.
So stay tuned. We might do another one after this one's done. But we'll see how it goes. We got a lot of projects going.
And you can do it cheap. Again, our total investment in this car, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping, have you been keeping track?
I say probably, with everything we got in it right now, we're probably close to the $2,000 mark.
Just about $2,000. That's complete. That's everything. That's scrounging for parts. And that includes the tunnel ram that we got for it, and the roll bar, and everything else. So all the materials, the welding wire, and the sheet metal, and just all of the stuff that's gone into this car so far, went to it for about $2,000. So you can build exceedingly cool things for dirt cheap if you really, really want to. And that's the thing. See, Ali really, really wants to be out with this car. I really, really want to see it. And this is what happens. This is determination. Thank you.
Hey, we did good work, brother.
All right, guys. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.